They knew exactly what they wanted to do right there, Greg, and the timing was right on time.
We'll return shortly.
It's the 2K Sports Halftime Show.
Welcome, everybody. So far, a pretty one-sided first half. Ernie Johnson with Shaquille O'Neal and Kenny the Jet Smith. A competitive matchup for Oklahoma City in the first quarter. They never got too far behind as their largest deficit in the period was 8. The second quarter got a lot more exciting for them as they were putting up big numbers and find themselves way out in front here at the half. Kenny, let's get your take on Oklahoma City.
Well, they went downtown and threw a party, and fortunately, we were all invited. The key is their shooters weren't afraid to pull the trigger on open looks, and it's a blowout right now.
How about you, Shaq? What did you think about Indiana?
Way too soft in the paint defensively. They were all late on their rotations. Obviously, that's a recipe for getting cooked. And you know I like eating that barbecue chicken. They got to do better, Ernie.
And now, folks, just moments away from the start of the third quarter.
Point lead as the quarter comes to a close. Their transition game has been in full effect. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Folks, that's going to do it for now. For Clark Kellogg, Greg Anthony, and David Aldridge, this is Kevin Harlan along with our terrific 2K Sports crew, thanking you for tuning in. See you next time. Close game. Clippers lead by 3. 2K Sports, back in a moment from the Amway Center.
And now, the 2K Sports Halftime Show.
Hey again, y'all. Ernie Johnson here with Shaq and Kenny the Jet. Welcome to the 2K Sports Halftime Show. We saw Danilo Gallinari lighting it up in the first half. He had 12 points, 2 assists, and 1 steal. And taking a look at the Clippers, Kenny, what did you see out there?
Well, they built this lead in large part because of the sharpshooters off the bench. The subs played a superb game. Get it? Sub, superb. Oh, I'm rolling tonight. I mean, they play like starters.
Shaq, what'd you think about Orlando?
Well, they got to do a better job on the glass. Ernie, they got outworked. They were weak physically. That's part of how they fell behind in this game. I think if they can control those things, they'll be okay, Ernie.
And that's all we can do for now. As the second half begins, we get you back to Kevin Harlan.
We bring the quarter to a close. Their strategy has been clear tonight. Work the ball inside, get shots in the paint, and now they are scoring with ease. Back to the action after this word. And now we get the chance to present our Jordan Player of the Game, DeAndre Jordan.
And guys, he's just played angry tonight. I mean, he's taken that anger out on the rim with one throwdown after another. They have not been able to stop him from getting to the rim.
And as the star of this team, he knows he's going to be the object of the crowd's anger. And the rest of our terrific 2K Sports crew, this is Kevin Harlan saying thanks for watching. And we'll see you next time. Energy for the Memphis Grizzlies. He got into double digits for the quarter with 10 points total. We'll get right back to the action when we return.
the 2K Sports Halftime Show.
Welcome back, everyone, to the 2K Sports Halftime Show. Some big-time action already in this one. I'm Ernie Johnson, along with Kenny the Jet Smith and Shaquille O'Neal. It was Marc Gasol setting the pace in the first quarter. He had 16 points, 6 rebounds, and 1 block. Kenny, what'd you think about the Grizzlies?
Well, there was one pleasant surprise, and that was the bench. They gave them a big lift. Those guys came into the game, they did all the dirty work, and they scored baskets.
And over to Shaq, your take on the Wizards.
Well, a lot of their points came in transition. They dictated the pace of the game. It was a fast pace. Put the defense back on its heels. I say keep attacking the second half. Do not slow down.
And that will wrap up our halftime report, as it's just about time for the start of the second half.
Today's game as we've reached the end of 3. It's the Grizzlies up by 3. And we're coming right back after this break to get the fourth quarter underway.
Just a wasted argument. There's different eras, there's different rules. Think about how many threes Larry Bird shot per game. 1.5, 2. What if he could let it fly 10 times a game? We'd be talking about a different player there. So I think times, eras, the physical play of the 80s, of the 90s, I just know that players will handle it differently. Hand checking, the way that we call flagrant 1 fouls. It's a different league, and so I just choose to celebrate the players that we have now. They're the evolution in my mind. They're kind of the culmination.
For Chris Webber, Greg Anthony, and David Aldridge, this is Kevin Harlan saying thanks for watching. So long and good night, everyone. Their lead is where it is because they've gotten good shots. A lot of good shots. We've got more NBA basketball coming your way in just a minute.
It's the 2K Sports Halftime Show.
We so hope you enjoyed our first half. Ernie Johnson, Shaquille O'Neal, Kenny the Jet Smith. This is the halftime report. After 2 quarters, it's Denver out in front. They are leading by 12. And, big fella, let's get your thoughts on the Nuggets.
I don't think anyone expected to see such numbers from the bench. You know, I'm impressed. It was what they needed, the jolt they needed, Ernie. Wow, I never knew their bench was. Matter of fact, I don't even know any of their players coming off the bench. Man, keep going, bench guys.
And over to Kenny. What did you think about Boston?
Well, obviously, they didn't show up on the glass at all. They were getting outworked, out-hustled, and outplayed. And their competition showed just the opposite. They wanted it more. You can't give up a ton of extra possessions in a game like this and expect to win.
And that is just about going to wrap it up as the second half is moments away. Down to Kevin Harlan and the rest of the crew.
Lead by 2. And fourth quarter basketball will be coming your way on 2K Sports right after this. Now we've got a moment for our Jordan Player of the Game, Kyrie Irving.
Yeah, and his performance has been a jaw-dropper. He must have been feeling great coming into the building tonight, because once he hit the court, it was all working for him. He was in a zone.
Right after this. Do it for now. For Brent Barry, Greg Anthony, and David Aldridge, this is Kevin Harlan saying thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. And so it's the Miami Heat riding a 15-point lead at the end of the quarter. They have been sharp from beyond the arc, putting on a terrific three-point shooting display. Back to the action after this word.
The 2K Sports Halftime Show.
We so hope you enjoyed our first half. Ernie Johnson, Shaquille O'Neal, Kenny the Jet Smith. This is the halftime report. It was all about Miami as the game got going. They literally played out of their minds and had a stretch going that gave them a 19-point advantage. Their confidence continued as they ended up leading still by a huge margin at the end of one. In the second quarter, they didn't play quite as well and were outscored, but still were able to head to the locker room up by a solid 9 at the half. Let's hear from you, Shaq, on the Heat first half.
The three-point shot was their best friend. I agree with the strategy. When it's working, take advantage of it. I don't really like it. Live by the jumper, die by the jumper. But tonight, they're living, and they're living good, baby.
And Kenny, what did you see from Portland?
Well, they just didn't produce enough offense. I don't know if it's because they were expending so much energy on the defensive end, but clearly they have to take a look at this. What plays are we calling, and how can we improve that? And they have to do it fast, because if they don't, this game is going to run away from them.
And now, folks, just moments away from the start of the third quarter.
A shooter, an open look at the basket.
And we've reached the end of the third. It's the Heat up by 7. And do not go away, as we'll be back in just a few moments with the start of our fourth quarter coming up next. And that about wraps it up. For Greg Anthony, Brett Barry, and David Aldridge, this is Kevin Harlan. Thank you for watching the NBA, presented by 2K Sports. We'll see you next time. Jazz out in front, leading by 14. After this break, we'll be back with the start of the second quarter on 2K Sports.
The 2K Sports Halftime Show.
Hello again, everybody. Along with Kenny the Jet Smith and Shaquille O'Neal, I'm Ernie Johnson. Time for the NBA Halftime Show on 2K Sports. A big night so far for Derek Favors. He had 12 points, 7 rebounds, and 2 assists. And Shaq, what did you think about what we saw from Utah?
The speed they're playing with has been fantastic. They're pushing the ball in transition and catching the defense. That's snapping, Ernie. Anyway, a huge chunk of their offense has come on the break. They've got a nice lead, but they shouldn't slow anything down. I say keep doing what you do.
And Kenny, let's get your input on the Bulls.
Poor efficiency on offense. That's what jumps out at me. You aren't going to win many games shooting under 35%. Bad shot selection, too much one-on-one play, not finishing with authority. Now, these are correctable errors. They could choose to come out in the second half and completely flip that script.
That's it for now, as the second half just about ready to go.
And their ability to get points in the paint has made all the difference in this one. We've got more in store for you right after this. And now we've got a moment for our Jordan Player of the Game, Derek Favors.
And it's been another dominant night on the glass for him. Some of his other numbers might change from game to game, but you know he's going to give you double-digit rebounds. It's impossible to keep him off the glass. His energy level is that good.
Teams need contributions from everybody to win on the road, not just the stars. And he's done more than his share tonight. An outstanding performance. For Greg Anthony, Doris Burke, and David Aldridge, this is Kevin Harlan saying thanks for watching. So long, everyone. Bucks lead by 1, and will return shortly.
And now, the 2K Sports Halftime Show.
Hello again, everybody. Ernie Johnson here, along with Shaquille O'Neal and Kenny the Jet Smith. Time to check out the first half of action. A competitive matchup for New Orleans in the first quarter. Some good action during the period, as it was just a one-point game at the end of one. They had a slight edge on the scoreboard in the second quarter, but only by the slimmest of margins. Kenny, your thoughts, how the Pelicans are playing?
Well, I thought their turning point was when the bench came in. Those guys really hustled, and they gave the team some energy, and then they started to score baskets. That was a bonus.
And now, Shaq, let's get your opinion on Milwaukee.
Well, as we know, it's always a good idea to pound the ball into the paint. So many defensive game plans are focused just on stopping the three. When you hurt a team down low, they got to react. That allows you to play inside out. Trust me, I have the blueprint. I own the blueprint. I created the blueprint. Inside, kick it back out, shoot the three. Rick Fox, B. Shaw, and big shot, Bob for three. The crowd go crazy. I know you remember that, Ernie.
That'll do it for now. The second half of action coming right up.
Ahead, up by 2. And we'll have the start of the fourth quarter for you as soon as we get back from this short break.
Oftentimes, a timeout like this allows you to kind of just reset.
And now let's present our Jordan Player of the Game, Giannis Antetokounmpo.
And the way he's made his mark with his work inside, he's just been a slasher tonight. Always moving, getting to the basket at will, and just seemingly taking advantage of a D that was reluctant to get in his way.
He's really seemed to feed off the hostile environment he's been faced with tonight. That'll wrap it up, folks. For David Aldridge, Greg Anthony, and Clark Kellogg, this is Kevin Harlan saying thanks for being with us. See you next time.
The 2K Sports Halftime Show.
The first half in the books. This is Ernie Johnson. This is Shaquille O'Neal. This is Ken Smith. Welcome back.
Ken,
as we break down the action. DeMar DeRozan putting in some serious work for the team tonight. He had 12 points, 3 rebounds, and 3 assists. And taking a look at the Raptors, Kenny, what did you see out there?
well, I think to shoot a high percentage, your offense has to be in sync. And in the first half, those guys were sharing the basketball, playing for each other. Now it becomes a matter of being consistent at it.
Shaq, what'd you think about Phoenix?
Well, I didn't even know who some of these guys were, but their bench came up with some big shots, gave the team a lift offensively. It's always possible those guys will see more minutes in the second half, but at the same time, if you're a starter for a reason. We shall see, Ernie.
And that is just about going to wrap it up as the second half is moments away. Down to Kevin Harlan and the rest of the crew.
Tonight they've had in terms of their shooting, everything dropping in for them. And we'll be right back after this.
were dragging a little bit, calling timeout to kind of let them catch their breath.
A chance now to recognize our Jordan Player of the Game, Serge Ibaka.
And he's put on a terrific show of skill in the paint. A combination of moves, footwork, and that soft touch down low. It's all added up to one dominant performance for the big fella.
He's been their pulse tonight, the player who's guided them to the win, and it's a win they needed. Coming now for Greg Anthony, Steve Smith, and David Aldridge. This is Kevin Harlan. Thanks for watching the NBA here on 2K Sports. See you later. To a close. They're feeling very confident, shooting the ball with great efficiency and dictating the pace. We'll get right back to the action when we return.
The 2K Sports Halftime Show.
Welcome back, everybody. It's the halftime show on 2K Sports. Ernie Johnson here with Kenny the Jet Smith and Shaquille O'Neal. We saw Kemba Walker lighting it up in the first half. He had 13 points and 6 assists. Shaq, your thoughts on the Hornets?
Well, Kenny should appreciate this. I love the ball movement. They were in sync as a unit, and their assist numbers were impressive. Anytime you get 5 players working together like that instead of one guy doing it alone, it's always going to be a boost. That's the primary reason they're in control of the game.
How about you, Kenny? What did you think about Houston?
Their inaccuracy from behind the arc was brutal. Shot selection, I didn't see any. The perimeter offense they're running, you could scrap that. They need to get back to the basics. Pound it inside, more pick and roll. Try to pick up some easy buckets in transition.
That's it for now as the second half's just about ready to go.
Calls timeout. They're trailing by 5. 1:53 left here in the fourth quarter. And now the presentation of our Jordan Player of the Game, James Harden.
And guys, he's been about as close to perfection as you can be. The intensity he's played with has been amazing. Just no let up. And as fired up as he's been, he's never let his emotions get out of control.
Joining us, that'll do it for now. For David Aldridge, Greg Anthony, and Clark Kellogg, this is Kevin Harlan saying thanks for being with us. So long and good night, everyone.